and you've got to have some kind of self-respect. And I'm not going to allow the guy to just say and do whatever he wants and think that he has free reign to disrespect my family just because I want to have him as part of Smart Guys. So that's why I made the decision. All right? And it's that simple.
There goes another host. John, Howard, now PPP. They all gone. Phil's losing co-hosts left and right.
Did you hear what I just said?
You said you can't tell me because your detractors will use it against you.
That's not what I said at all.
Well,
I said,
tell me again.
You got to calm down. Listen. I get it. I do. You're excited. You think you got me on something. It's all good. And I'm actually
I got you, Phil. I got
you.
I haven't even started on these bank leaks. There's a mountain of evidence that it's you.
Okay. Officially as of today, all right, I am going to be doing Smart Guys solo starting tonight on the late stream. We're going to see how the show goes. As long as the show still gets some attendance and support, I want to continue it through WrestleMania.
So it's not going to continue. It's going to be like DS Politics. I also think it's funny that he's still calling it Smart Guys, even though every other host on the show's either left or got kicked off.
As long as the show still gets some attendance and support, I want to continue it through solo starting tonight on the late stream. We're going to see how the show goes. As long as the show still gets some attendance and support, I want to continue it through WrestleMania.
So you're snaking PPP and taking the show over, who was your co-host, right? You called him your co-host. So you're taking the show over, turning it into your solo show, hoping to keep the fans that he was bringing over and continue your little rodeo show. Another solo podcast from DSP. How is it going to be different from his level 1 podcast? Well, it's not. It's going to be asking for contributions, and it's going to be some talk about wrestling that really nobody cares about, and half the audience wasn't even there for. Gee, what a fun show. Can't wait to watch it, right? I'm kidding. I never catch Smart Guys. I only catch the drama clips.
And then we'll see what we want to do. You know, WrestleMania is only about a month away, so it would be a few more episodes or whatever, and that's it. And then we'll go from there. All right?
So the guy who wanted to branch out is now cutting off ties and now turtling himself back into this little world that he created for himself before he met Kino Casino. Interesting. At the moment I'm recording this, he is still complaining about this. How far behind am I? I'm an hour behind, and he's still coping about PPP and Smart Guys. It's pretty sad. We also learned that Kat's having health problems, and that's what he's complaining about. It's supposedly not divorce. It's Kat having dire health problems, according to DSP. So that's the big drama. So that's DSP continuing to bring up Kat in his content. Can't control his emotions, so he's got to bring her up.
Cash yesterday. I told you that I feel there's 3 routes I can take forward as a content creator. Road number 1 is be a complete shill sellout. Take every sponsorship opportunity, kiss every game's butt, say everything is good, give you referral links, ads out the ass, be a complete shill.
Everything has to be the extreme to this guy. According to him, if you want to be successful in that sense, you have to shill every product and you have to take every sponsorship. You have no right to pick or choose what you want to do. You have no say. You have to take all the money that's thrown in your face. So that's option 1 for Phil. Even though that's the most extreme option, that's how Phil phrases everything. That's one of 3 options that Phil has.
And I would definitely make bank doing that. Road number 2 is to be a complete drama queen asshole, to regain the King of Hate title, attack everyone on the internet, cause tons and tons of crap for everyone, but in the same time create such a whirlpool, a vortex of drama that undoubtedly everyone would be talking about it. I'd be at odds with everyone. It would be absolutely crazy, lose control, but everyone would be talking about it.
Phil doesn't have the relevance, the stamina, or the presence to do any of that, right? He's tried to do this stuff. He's tried to get people on the interviews, and then when he gets people in an interview with him, he turns into a little girl, and he can't confront people, and he gets afraid of confrontation. We've seen it multiple times. Craig, Keemstar, I'm not talking about the Keemstar interview, I'm talking about when he was on Side Scrollers and Keemstar talked to him. Phil pulled out his little, Keem, you are someone who, and like kissed his ass. Phil doesn't have the relevance to be a drama content creator given his history. People aren't going to want to hear Phil try to give insight into drama situations for a guy who's been a shut-in for 20 years that people laughed at, that nobody truly cares their opinion about. It's tough to get into that position when you have no credibility and you've already been labeled as a known liar. So I truly don't think this would even be a path for Phil. I mean, he's comparable to RTU, RTU tries the same thing. RTU gets himself in drama situations all the time, but more often than not, people are laughing at RTU. They're not going to RTU for takes on drama and stirring the pot. People are laughing at these guys. So that's the only option that Phil has. I don't think this is truly a path that Phil could take. And I think he's got a misconception on this path.
Attention out the ass, you know, it would explode. And then there's option number 3, which is the option that I've really been trying hard to work and maintain, is to just be me, to not be fake either way, but instead to just be me and maintain the course that I have. But the only way I'm going to actually be successful at doing that is essentially to have to ask for contributions every single stream, because that's the only way that I'm going to hit goals and be successful, because I'm not getting the sponsors and I'm not getting the drama money.
So you're going to continue to do what you do, cut off different avenues to potentially branch out. Just keep doing the same thing that you're doing, even though PPP was telling you to branch out and do other things for longevity, and you agreed with him and were saying that you can't play video games forever on your streams. Here we are saying I need to play video games forever on my streams and ask for contributions, because that would be maintaining what you're currently doing, right? That's maintaining the path that he's going. And unfortunately, Phil, you need Kino Casino way more than they need you. You've only had relevance because of them. You're just going to go back to the meme on the internet that you have been if you cut them off. So if these are your only 3 options, dude, I'd get back to the drawing board, because everything that you presented is straight poop.
Okay? So I'll tell you right now, PPP absolutely thinks the best course of action is the drama route. No shit. Why wouldn't he? What's this whole show about?
Why are you telling us this after the fact that people have been screaming that in your ear for months, saying it's going to backfire on you and they're a drama show? This is like him going on Truth Seekers and then not finding out till he's already on the show and it's already said and done. He's getting off the show. It's like, wow, that was a mistake to do, huh? Why did I go on a show called Truth Seekers for a guy who was trying to figure out the truths behind all my lies? Phil, you're a dumbass.
Right? Drama. His entire show, the entirety of it, it's just covering people in a dramatic way. And I get it. And I have no issue with that. Now, listen, I don't have to agree with that content, and I don't have to like that content, but I certainly can respect that hustle.
So now he doesn't agree or like that content, but he was the little bitch in their chat asking to get noticed, trying to get attention to go on their show in the first place. So that just makes you look dumb, dude. Everything you say just backfires. It's baffling.
Certainly can respect that life, okay? But it doesn't mean I have to live it. And basically, PPP this year wanted to get me heavily involved in all kinds of drama and stuff, all right?
But that's because PPP sees you're going down a dead end, dude. I mean, look at the last wrestling show that they did. PPP went hard on him, but he actually was trying to help DSP improve and have longevity on the internet and have long-term success and not go broke when these whales cut him off. And the crazy thing is, DSP took that advice and went to his streams and then turned around and was like, guys, I can't keep doing the same content forever. I can't keep playing video games forever. I'm going to have to branch out and do other things. You can't sit on the fence forever, DSP. You got to take a path and you got to choose it. You got to find what works for you. And it seems like everything you do gets ruined because of your own toxic behavior. I mean, listen, I said it on one of my videos like months ago. I would never let anyone speak to my significant other like that or speak about them like that and continue to work with that person, right? That's my opinion. But for some reason, it didn't bother DSP up until now, even though last week on their show, when DSP was pulling out trading cards, pulled out a trading card and PPP goes, is that Cat or something along those lines, and was still taking jabs at her. Did it bother DSP? No, he did his little awkward laugh and fucking shrugged it off. It didn't bother him until the detractors really made a point about it. So I don't really think he was truly upset that PPP was saying these comments. I think it was that the detractors were getting a win because PPP was saying them and the detractors made a big deal about it. That's my assumption.
All right? And it's that simple. Doesn't matter what he says or does. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter how he kinds to cope, because that's what he's doing. He's coping all over Twitter today, posting up 1 million cope tweets. I don't care. All right? I really don't. It's sad because I really feel like that he is a guy who can be really fun to work with, and he's funny as well, And he brings that hype and he brings that energy. He's the ultimate pitch guy. He's the Paul Heyman of drama content on the internet, right?
He's also the guy that keeps your podcast going. Your wrestling podcast is, let's just watch how boring DSP's wrestling podcast turns out without any energy whatsoever for a guy who's supposedly taken years off of wrestling and recently just got back into it, right? Let's see how this goes for him.
That's how I feel. But at what expense? Because I'm not going to become full-time Keto Casino, full-time drama. I'm just not going to do that. I don't want to. All right? And just to make this perfectly clear again, I know that nothing that I say and do will ever change how he acts or what he says. He very well might go on the casino tomorrow, and the entire show is just going over this podcast and felting me.
You've known this before you started working with him. He called your wife fat before you even met him. And you were still in his chat wanting to work with these guys and go on their show. But because you confronted him one time being like, did you really mean it? And he still never apologized. He apologized for the fact that you were upset about it. He never said sorry about saying it. It just makes you wonder, who's the fool when you're doing all these things? You're going on these shows for these interviews and you're getting snaked left, right, and center because your ineptitude and inability to detect when something probably isn't good for you to do. And when you think that this is potential publicity for me, where I can up my numbers and increase my donations for the sake of embarrassing my wife or embarrassing myself to get a little more financial gain, you've lost the plot, dude. You've completely lost the plot. You're the guy. The only person you can really blame in this situation is you. What happened to John and Howard on Smart Guys? I wasn't around for that. That was before my time. I really only started knowing who DSP was when he started jerking off on stream. That's all I know this guy about, and that's when I tuned into him. I only knew Wings of Redemption before then. He just can't stay out of his own way. That's the problem.
And if that's it, so be it. You know, who cares? I can't stop that. I've only been going through that for, I don't know, like 13 straight years anyway. So it's not like it's a big deal to me.
All right, let's go see PPP coping on Twitter. Let's see what the copes are about. So the first thing PPP said was, finally, this isn't about his wife. It's about respect. Phil showed zero respect for me, Andy, or Steve, or anyone else who tried to help him yesterday. He threw it all in my face with this third lazy path bullshit and refusal to ever try to put in effort. It's a waste of resources. I do agree with PPP here. I do think it's laziness, and I think that Phil is happy with the money that's currently coming in, that he feels like he doesn't need to put in this extra effort to do other things because the money's already good right now. Like, why bother? I mean, you want to talk about laziness, look at these low effort thumbnails. He's literally just ripping these images out of his stream. He's not even creating thumbnails. You can see the tips and you can see the tips leaderboards on these. Like, this is all low effort and it shows. He's getting 200 views. I mean, the guy who can't properly edit his content, who has to do it while he's streaming. That's where all these unrecorded beg segments come from, because Phil sits there and begs and begs and begs. And then it's like, okay, let's start recording. And it's like, this isn't 1998, dude. You can hire editors. It's okay. You can record segments after the fact. But if you're going to put such low effort into these videos, it's going to show through in your numbers. I mean, this guy has 216,000 subscribers. He's got 216,000 subscribers. And he's got 164 views on a video he uploaded 13 hours ago. I don't even have 164 views on videos I uploaded 13 hours ago. I'm mainly DSP content, but I did a video yesterday that wasn't DSP content, and it still somehow had more views than this. People don't know me for that content, but somehow it still had more views than this. He's doing the bare minimum to get by, and then just spamming out all these crap 1 hour worthless YouTube videos to milk as much money he can off of YouTube just to get these clicks. Next tweet we have, PP says, he will say I'm the bad guy and the villain in this, and he's just an innocent little victim who didn't do anything. But as I said, he's no victim. He didn't want to hear me tell him the truth anymore. I was too real last week, and this was the ultimatum, and this ultimatum was his way out. Save his ego. I just want to point out the following. DSP didn't actually give a single fuck about me joking about his wife. He allowed me to do it to his face over and over. He never said a word. Only when detractors made fun of him for it did he care. It's all he cares about. And that's 100% true. You'll see DSP go to the edges of earth to defend Derek before he had to ban him. Why? Because the detractors found all this stuff out about Derek and the stuff that Derek does behind the scenes, and he didn't want to give the detractors that win by getting rid of Derek. It was more important to keep Derek because the detractors made a huge deal about Derek all the time. I mean, his own chat made a huge deal about Derek. I don't know why he kept that dude around as long as he did, but other than the tier makers and stuff that probably the thumbnails too that Derek made for him, I bet. So somebody responded to him, said DSP would at least gain a little bit of respect on his name if he went back to the pre-adpocalypse asshole who just said and did what he wanted, not caring about what people say or do. Completely stop the I've changed, I'm not that type of person anymore, like side scrollers. This too is a major part of the problem. Phil is a fake ass bitch who is so scared of controversy or any sort of confrontation that he neuters himself into the most boring bum, capable of only slop and no passion or soul, just the laziest cash grabs with no ambition, soulless. I can't find a single thing wrong with this statement. Even when Steve Cambion was basically yelling at him, calling Phil a liar to his face, Phil was sitting there like, listen. At the end of the day, there's no hard feelings between us. And it's like, dude, you have no balls. But I will give Phil a little credit. That was probably the first interview where I saw him kind of like push back at least a little bit. But I think it was because he was stuck in such a corner with all this stuff going on that he had no choice. It was either that or leave. So he would slightly push back and then try to talk his way out of something. But he absolutely is scared of confrontation. I mean, side scrollers. When he said fuck you to Craig and kicked him off the show, he said fuck you after he kicked Craig out of the Discord call. Like, he waited until he hit that kick button or end call button to say fuck you. Next thing PPP says is, if Phil does his typical victim rhetoric today and tries to play innocent moral authority man, when he's a selfish, spiteful, greedy douchebag who takes and never gives anything back ever, I will come down so hard on Phil, he will know what it is to be a victim. If I'm scared, Phil, bring me on tonight and let's talk about it, you fucking bitch. Reposted Stephen Cambion, exposing Kat's medical issues for sympathy because he's too pussy to be a man and stand up for himself. So pathetic. Also true. What's crazy is that Phil's solution to protecting his wife from a fat man calling her fat is to use her as human sympathy shield and reveal she has medical issues. As though this will stop trolling and make fun of her and giving them more ammo. Just unhinged and sad. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he even hinted at it. The shit that pissed me off about this, though, is like every day he would go on stream and be like, guys, you know, just in case I get mad at you or something, or I flip out and I don't seem like myself, just know that I have something going on behind the scenes and it's nothing to do with you or the stream. And it's so he's like hinting at this stuff just to finally come out and say it's been his wife the whole time. So really he's been using his wife as the sympathy grabber this entire time. But also to say that and be like, if I get mad at you, do you go to work and tell your customers or your boss, like, if I get mad at you, just, I'm sorry, I have something going on behind the scenes. You know, it's like, no, you're a 42-year-old man. You hold that shit in. You don't bring it to work. You don't bring it to the workplace. It's, if you need to take time off to do something, you take time off to do something. If you can't afford to take time off to do something because of the position you're in DSP, well, maybe that's a problem. And maybe this whole streaming thing isn't working for you if you have to work 6 days a week and you can never do anything with your wife. And then it's just the pinned thing. PPP is not returning tonight. So that's all I got, y'all. Looks like they broke up. I mean, to me, there's a chance this is just drama farming. I doubt it, given all that's being said right now. But you never know. I mean, with DSP's social experiment that he tried to not beg for a single day, where he based his entire results off of 1 day of no begging, really knows how to run an experiment in collecting data. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. It's been a long day for me, y'all. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I gotta do some yard work. Thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment. Peace.